Opponent makes a great catch, catching the dynamic punch on Machamp. It lands for big damage. Hypno comes in, 3 confusions, take him out. The opponent going to be sending back out Empoleon. Hypno charging up, and we're going straight for the Focus Blast. The question is, does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon. Today we have an absolute banger of a battle submission. Yes, Ultra League isn't available right now, but do you really want to see Catch Cup content? Probably not. So we're going back through our battle submissions this season, and we are going to be shoutcasting the very best. And today we have a level 50.5 Shadow Hypno. It's only 1 power up away from being maxed out. And we've got a Snorlax running Outrage. Rounding the team off of this full Kanto team, may I add, we've got Poliwrath in the lead. So without any further ado, let's get into the battles. In game 1, we see a great lead Poliwrath into Caesar. The opponent chips us with a Night Slash and send out Venusaur. Today's featured battler, Cutlass Boy, who I'm going to call Cutlass for the duration of the video, chips this Venusaur with the Ice Punch and then sends out Hypno. These confusions hitting for super effective, and holy smokes, they're tearing through Venusaur. Venusaur doesn't even make the second Frenzy Plant. Hypno farms down. The opponent sends out Lugia. Hypno is an absolute Swiss Army knife with a huge array of charge moves, so the opponent commits that shield fearful of the Shadow Ball. You will notice we've got Psyshock, and that is a legacy move. This battler has invested in Elite TM to obtain it. We're now at shield advantage. We can send in Snorlax. Snorlax is going to be hitting for super effective with the lick damage. We shield up the Sky attack. These licks are going to really chunk Lugia. Despite them being super bulky, the opponent's just going straight Sky attack. That's an easy tank for the big thick boy. The opponent pivots out. Back into their Caesar, and Poliwrath's going straight for the dynamic punch. It lands for huge damage. Caesar can only hit Poliwrath for resisted. This is an easy no shield. The opponent goes for the hard hitting same type attack bonus move of Iron Head, and Poliwrath just shrugs it off. Cutlass Boy forces the opponent to throw. Night Slash still doesn't KO. We fire off the Ice Punch. This is resistive, it's still enough to knock out. Back out comes Lugia. The opponent farms down, but Snorlax has a whole boatload of energy. We come in, fire off the Body Slam. Body Slam does draw the final shield. Snorlax charging up towards Body Slam. Number 2, Cutlass Boy invests his final Protect shield. Lugia putting up a valiant fight, but this game is absolutely over, and just to finish it, in true style, we go for the BM Outrage. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, Poliwrath into Charizard. If we had Scald, this wouldn't be the worst matchup in the world. You will notice this opponent is on Air Slash, and that definitely isn't the move you're looking for. Wing Attack is objectively better, however it does require an Elite TM. You will notice Cutlass Boy has built up to a potential Scald. The opponent actually calls the bait. However, if you don't actually have the move that would hit for super effective, you should always charge up to it. That's what I like to call fake it till you make it. Our Snorlax save switch has been answered by a Venusaur, and the opponent actually lets us get off the second Body Slam, forcing a shield. At this stage now, Cutlass Boy can just allow Snorlax to go down. Much like myself, when used the big thick boy, it's pretty much used a damage sponge. This now sets up a nice farm down for Hypno. The opponent doesn't even make the next Frenzy Plant. Back out comes Charizard. This is just a Dragon Claw. However, Cutlass Boy commits the shield. We're now in the 1-to-1 shield. Hypno fires off the Psyshock. The opponent lets it go. They're putting all their hopes and dreams on a 1-shield Confusion Gardevoir. Confusion, a pretty interesting moveset. I think most people, if you're going to run Gardevoir, will use Charm. However, Confusion does generate energy a lot quicker. Again, Cutlass Boy farming up to what could be a Shadow Ball. He draws the final protection and pivots out into Poliwrath. Poliwrath makes the first Ice Punch. It lands, getting Gardevoir deep into the red. Can we make one more charge move? Poliwrath on 1 HP and a dream. Is a Gardevoir counter confirmed? You heard it here first. Let's go. I really like the way that Cutlass Boy farms up 2 charge moves that he actually hasn't got, forcing shields off the opponent. In the next battle, we see an absolute nightmare lead. A Confusion user into our fighter. You hate to see it. Our save switch Hypno is met by Empoleon. The opponent lands the Hydro Cannon, and we're going straight for the Focus Blast. Come on, trainer, let it go. The opponent actually shits their pants, putting up a shield. Cutlass Boy can now send back out Poliwrath, and Polion does have access to Drill Peck, and Cutlass Boy is going to respect it. Poliwrath now farming up, and Cutlass Boy going to go straight for the Dynamic Punch. Dynamic Punch, if it goes unshielded, will be returning Empoleon to their Pokeball. Back out comes Executor, and Ice Punch is nice coverage. This is going to hit for super effective, and it actually does quite a lot of damage. We now see the pivot into Snorlax. The opponent stays in. We look to farm down. The opponent makes a last second charge move. Psychic lands for a lot of damage. Snorlax gets the farm down. And to my surprise, the opponent has a really good Snorlax answer in the back. So this is a huge misplay from the opponent. They should have saved that. Executor pivoted straight out into Escavalier, and I think the opponent would probably win. However, they have called 2 Body Slam bait, saving their shield for the potential Dynamic Punch from Poliwrath. That is a nice play, but you really should have pivoted. We can shield up the Drill Run. Cutlass Boy now going for the Ice Punch bait. The opponent forced the shield. Poliwrath, pretty tick. This Drill Run isn't going to knock out, and we're going to be able to take this game. We're actually at the Dynamic Punch, but we're throwing the Ice Punch anyway. Either move will be enough to secure the knockout. The opponent looks like they've top left as we get some lag, and we take another dub. In the next battle, Escavalier gets his chance at redemption as we see Poliwrath into Escavalier again. No messing around from Cutlass Boy. He's going straight for the Dynamic Punch as soon as he gets it. The opponent commits the shield. We know the bulky Poliwrath can survive a Drill Run. The opponent goes for the resisted Mega Horn. Interesting. Mega Horn does do slightly more damage. However, Drill Run is a lot better DPE. So in the 2 shield, I just go straight Drill Run. The opponent has committed both Protect shields. So Cutlass Boy did shield, looking to get off another Dynamic Punch. He then showed immaculately fast reflexes, pivoting out before Sylveon could snipe us, and he enters into Hypno. The Legacy Psyshock lands on Sylveon for a lot of damage. The opponent returns fire with their own Psyshock. That is resisted. Hypno tanked it. We can't Confusion farm down. However, Snorlax can come in, get the Lick farm down. Back out comes Escavalier. And I'll be honest, things are looking rough. Cutlass Boy invests the last Protect shield. The opponent now gives up switch, sending out Empoleon. Cutlass Boy farms up a boatload of energy, goes for the Wham Bam combo play. Dynamic Punch lands. The opponent survives on 1 HP and a Dream. And holy crap, that's actually really good for us. This allows Snorlax to come in, lick down. We're at the back-to-back body slams. This is resisted, but however, Escavalier has hardly any bulk. The first one gets some low, and the second one is going to knock out. My gosh, what a beautiful endgame. In the next battle, we lead Poliwrath into the world's most annoying Pigeon. Yikes. Pidgeot pretty good against Poliwrath and Snorlax. We pivot out into Hypno. We're calling the Feather Dance, and of course, Pigeon users always Feather Dance. The opponent now sends out Florges. Florges, not something you see too commonly in the Ultra League, and with our 2-stage debuff, we're making it look like an absolute tank. However, speaking of tank, Hypno, even as a shadow, pretty bulky. The opponent fired off the disarming voice, and Hypno still has quite a lot of HP. If the opponent tries to farm down, we would make one more charge move. Cutlass Boy actually looking to flip switch. The opponent already at the next disarming voice, so I'm not really sure about that shield, to be honest. If you shield once, you may as well shield twice. The opponent now gives up switch, sending back out Pidgeot. This can only be a Feather Dance, that's only 6. Snorlax now with a 2-stage debuff, so Body Slam not going to do a lot, and our licks are double resisted. Will the opponent finally send a Brave Bird? Let's see. I highly doubt it. The opponent sends yet another Feather Dance, giving Snorlax hope in this dreadful matchup. However, we're now 4-stage debuff. The opponent commits a shield, and we pivot back out into Poliwrath. Poliwrath makes the Ice Punch. This will be knocking out or forcing the final shield. The opponent lets the annoying Pigeon go. Back out comes Florges, and Poliwrath makes another Ice Punch. Is this where the opponent invests that last shield? No, they don't. Instead, choosing to save a shield for Walrus. I'm so confused. They shielded up a double debuff Body Slam and then allowed Poliwrath to get aligned with Walrus. The opponent farms up to what could be an Earthquake. However, Earthquake won't knock out. They go for the Icicle Sphere bait, and we aren't being masturbated all over today. Poliwrath shrugs it off and hits him with a dynamic punch to the face. Cutlass Boy now playing with his food, catching the charge move on Snorlax. The opponent again threw an Icicle Sphere bait. The opponent manages to farm down. We die with the move. Is this yet another spear bait? We finally shield and the opponent masturbates again. What a horrible habit from the opponent, but they lose CMP, and Dynamic Punch is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. Kanto Mark. Kanto Mark does have access to Thunder Punch. You see the pivot into Snorlax and the opponent answers with Surf Etch. This can only be a Leaf Blade or Night Slash, so Snorlax will survive. Night Slash gets us low. However, they did give us a pretty good energy lead, so we might be able to force a shield if we make the second body slam. The opponent shields the first, and the big thick boy never disappoints, making body slam number 2, and that does huge damage to the squishy Surf Etched. Let's see what Cutlass Boy does. We come into Hypno, one confusion, snipes the bird. Goodbye Surf Etch. The opponent sends out Sylveon. This is pretty good for us, as now Poliwrath doesn't have to face the Charmer. We fire off the Psyshock. It lands for huge damage. Cutlass Boy attempts to catch the Psyshock onto Poliwrath. The opponent doesn't throw. They still haven't thrown, so we manage to throw the Ice Punch. The opponent finally shields. They're looking to go for the full Charm Down, Farm Down. That's not happening. Ice Punch secures the knockout. Poliwrath out here beating all the fairies. Back out comes Muck. Thunder Punch will be taking us out. It's a very low health Hypno with 2 shields versus Kanto Muck. Legacy Psyshock does huge damage. The opponent choosing to throw. So if you're in this situation, being the Muck, your only win con would be to fast move, beat us down. However, Cutlass Boy takes yet another dub. You will notice he goes a nice 5-0 in this set and gets a very nice shiny Lapras as a reward. This is a shiny I haven't got. I don't really hunt shinies, but purple Lapras is pretty cool. Congrats. I'm very jealous, I'll be honest. Let's keep things moving. Poliwrath into Purified Zapdos. Yikes. We pivot into Snorlax and the opponent sends out Charizard. Are they on Fire Spin? Let's see. Body Slam does land, and it is a Fire Spin Charizard. Snorlax loses CMP, but even Blast Burn won't knock out from this range, and the opponent is apparently a masturbator. They fire off the Dragon Claw. The big thick boy laughs at that pitiful damage. The opponent gets far too greedy, allowing Mr. Fatty over here to get to one more Body Slam. The opponent, because they masturbated, now down 2 shields. They go for a Dragon Claw. Snorlax will survive. Can we lick down? We cannot. Charizard survives on minimal HP. We come into Poliwrath. Mudshot farm down the flyer. The opponent sends back out Zapdos. We've got 2 shield Hypno versus the world. And holy crap, it's a Bomber Snow. And you already know what's up. We tank the Weatherball Hypno. Farming up, we reach the Focus Blast. We lose CMP. We've still got 2 Protect Shields to hide behind. We shield up the Weather Ball, and Focus Blast is locked. It's loaded. Get wrecked, the Bomber Snow. Back out comes Zapdos. The opponent has about 1 bazillion energy. We shield up the Drill Peck. The opponent already at the next Drill Peck. This probably not going to knock out. It does not, so we pivot out into Poliwrath to minimise the amount of farm the opponent can get. The opponent fires off 1 more Drill Peck. The big thick Poliwrath shrugs it off. We reach the Ice Punch, and Poliwrath not only beats fairies, apparently it beats flyers as well. Moving on to the next one. It's the Battle of the Fighters. Surf Etched has access to Leaf Blade, which they will get after 5 counters. Are they running Leaf Blade? They're baiting with a Night Slash. They could actually have Leaf Blade and Night Slash, however they're choosing to bait. Poliwrath though not baiting, fires off the Dynamic Punch. This lands for huge damage. We then lose CMP on the Ice Punch. The opponent did have Leaf Blade all along, however we come in, 1 confusion, takes out the bird, and the opponent sends out Giratina. We have a world's first Giratina altered, winning CMP. The opponent fires off the Shadow Sneak. You can see just how defense weighted they are, because that was super effective. Absolutely nothing. We tanked it. We landed the Psyshock, and the opponent's got Shadow Kanto Muck in the back. Snorlax needs to put in a whole heap of work. We fire off the body slam. The opponent lets it go. Both trainers still hanging on to 2 shields. Cutlass Boy correctly shields up the harder hitting Dark Pulse. He's then going to fire off one more body slam. Body slam spammers are so annoying. These body slams come thick and fast. The opponent shielded that up. We lose CMP on the body slam. We shield up another Dark Pulse. Body slam will be knocking out or forcing the final shield. The opponent choosing to save that shield for Giratina. However, they're in the yellow. We send out Hypno to catch the charge move. The opponent fires off the Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, one more Shadow Claw takes us out. Can Snorlax survive a Dragon Claw from this health? I think we will, but we might get double resisted Shadow Claw farm down afterwards. We look for the Lick farm down. Unfortunately, Giratina far too tick, and we take a loss. GG's to that trainer. Let's see if we can get back to winning ways. Great lead. What's even better is the opponent is staying in. We throw on alignment, and the opponent makes a savage catch the dynamic punch on Machamp. Machamp tanks it, and Machamp in the blink of an eye gets deleted by 3 confusions. The opponent sends back out Empoleon. We're charging up. There's no bait on this channel. We're going straight for the Focus Blast. The opponent gets absolutely wrecked. It's now the opponent's 2-shield Charizard versus the wild. Hypno fires off the Legacy Psyshock, and the opponent again doesn't shield. Hello trainer, would you like to use your shields? Evidently not, and the opponent just gets completely destroyed. Moving on to the next one. Poliwrath into Escavalier again. Cutlass Boy not messing around, going straight for the dynamic punch. This opponent lets it go, and it gets Escavalier into the yellow. The opponent fires off the drill run, and we're now into the yellow. Poliwrath now going for an ice punch bait. I'm not really sure about this play, to be honest. The opponent chooses the shield, so apparently we're a fantastic master baiter. Cutlass Boy now gonna shield up the next drill run. We're now going to go for the dynamic punch. Dynamic punch will either knock out or force the final shield. The opponent now all shields down. We come into Hypno, look to confusion farm down. We're unable to. Is this only a drill run? Yes, it is, and that doesn't do too much. Hypno now gets a full resisted confusion farm down. And oh no, it's another penguin. And we're going to say, hi penguin, goodbye penguin. Get absolutely wrecked. The opponent's final Pokemon is Togekiss. They do manage to fall Charm down, Farm down. However, the big thick boy going to be far too tick for this silly Charmer. We do commit a Protect Shield on the Ancient Power. Even a boost won't be saving this little fluffy, I don't even know what Togekiss is. An annoying piece of shit, to be honest. We fire off the Body Slam, and the Charmer gets returned to the Pokeball. Moving on to the next one. Poliwrath into Giratina. This is another good reason to run Ice Punch in the Ultra League, because Giratina is absolutely everywhere. Ice Punch with non-stab doesn't do too much damage. To be honest, it takes about 4 to knock this really thick Ghost Dragon out. The opponent switches into Cobalion. Hello trainer. The opponent goes straight for a Sacred Sword, and the really thick Poliwrath shrugs that off, and we return fire with a dynamic punch. The opponent commits a shield. Are we going to look to catch the next one? No, we're not. We're actually choosing to stay in. We can shield up this Sacred Sword. We're now only 1 mud shot away from the next dynamic punch. Is the opponent going to commit that final shield? They are not. It lands for huge damage, and now we send out Hypno. The opponent settles for a Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword does absolutely nothing. The opponent then pivots back out into Giratina. We don't have Shadow Ball, but Psyshock is going to do decent neutral damage. Giratina, even if they're running Shadow Sneak, not going to be able to knock out Hypno from this range. Dragon Claw does land. The opponent's going to need to fire off 1 more Dragon Claw. Cutlass Boy saving his shield. This Giratina is switch locked, and it's in a nice farm down range for our big thick boy. Snorlax comes in, gets the lick down. The opponent sends back out Cobalion. That gets licked down as well, and it's Cresselia in the back. Snorlax has an energy lead, so we are in a pretty comfortable spot, to be honest. The opponent lets the first Body Slam go. Snorlax super thick, not willing to shield the first move. The opponent goes for a Moonblast, and the big thick boy tanks it, still in the green health. Cutlass Boy fires off the next Body Slam. Cresselia still unwilling to shield. Stay in school, kids. learn to count, Cutlass Boy has been to school. We catch the charge move on Poliwrath, back out comes Snorlax. And we're going to go for yet more body slam spam. Cresselia finally commits the final Protect Shield. Snorlax still with his own Protect Shield, too high behind. We shield this move up. I think we're about one lick away from the body slam. And that is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the final battle of the video. Yikes, not a great lead. We're going to see the immediate pivot into the big thick boy. And oh, hello Dragonite. However, the opponent farms up to what could be a superpower. This is a regular Dragonite, so we will survive. However, the opponent won't survive the Outrage. Does the opponent respect the damage? No, they don't. Snorlax wins the zero shield, back out comes Venusaur. However, this Venusaur is now aligned with a Shadow Hypno. I don't know why we're waiting out a timer. We should be coming in, looking to delete this thing as soon as possible. The opponent fires off the Frenzy Plant on alignment, allowing us a full free confusion. Venusaur already at the next Frenzy Plant. Cutlass Boy invests that shield. The opponent sends out Wall Rain, and we're going straight Focus Blast. Surely we don't land another nuke. The opponent lets it go. The super bulky Walrus almost gets one shot. Cutlass Boy invests his final Protect Shield, back out comes Venusaur, and Hypno completes a very impressive sweep. Huge shout out to Cutlass Boy for the incredible investment he's made, maxing out a level 50.5 Hypno. It was great fun to see it on its legacy move of Psyshock, and my god did you land some big booms with that Focus Blast. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on the channel, link to my battle submission form is down below. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to everyone for the support and for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.